Hey guys, so we're headed into what I'm going to call part three of our little setting up of sheets here. So we got session 12, views and sheets, part three, as part of our ARC 212 little session together. So really this session we're going to try and get our two things. We're going to get our sections onto a sheet, and then we're going to do our cover page. So let's go ahead and get into it. On Revit, here we go. So last session, we kind of got our elevations, north and south, onto a sheet. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do our east and west and the section. So let's just go ahead and do that. Remember, right click on sheet, get that new sheet all set up. And now I think we're also going to call this elevations. So A202, is that accurate? Let's just check the reference here. A202 looking pretty good. So now what we can do is get our east and our west sections, elevations onto our sheet here. So why don't I do it one at a time this time so you can kind of see the process. Change that to 1 to 50, right? Double click inside the view to activate it. I'm going to make my bubbles all on the right side. And turn them off on the left. So this little checkbox, you can turn them off on the left here. Move it over just a touch. What do I got? Well, I got this one actually down here. So let's put this one down here on the east. Move this up. Right, I'm going to activate the view. Probably want a little crop in here. Let's crop view region visible. Move it up. And move it to the left and right here. Let's just make this as crisp as we can. Move it down just a bit. And now, looking good. I could probably move this. Yeah, let's do that. Push it all the way over. And now we'll do the same thing with the west. Grab it on here, drag and drop, make it 1 to 50. Right click, activate the view, and move my bubbles to the right hand side. I know this seems a little tedious, but I promise you in the future, just staying consistent can really help your drawings read properly. So, whoops, missed that one. Ta-da. Probably want to crop this just a touch. So let's activate it. Double click, crop view again. Move this up and let's keep it going here. Again, I like to keep my my views pretty close to what they try and match up. Essentially, keep them in line, right? So if you're particular, which I imagine most of us are, especially if we're all drawing buildings, is just doing our best, trying to make things as tight as possible. I can move this over just a bit. Same thing down here. Activate the view. I'm going to try my best to try and line these up. Got my crop. Let's crop it over just a touch. I'm going to do the same thing. Am I lined up? Yeah, should be good. Should be good. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is get this building section on here. So where is my building section? Well, we could identify the building sections in our project browser here on the left. We've got section 1. And what I'd like to do is grab it and drop it into our little sheet here. So, did I call this elevations and section? I did. So elevations and section. Let's rename this and section. I got a different window in there too, but that's okay. Let's do this, pull it over. So I would like for us to kind of keep some of the information about the walls inside of our section. So, if someone's looking at this, they could kind of identify some key components here. Let's just drop this just a touch. And I'm going to rename this building section. So mine is already at 1 to 50 scale. If yours isn't, you could change it from 1 to 50, or 1 to 100 to 1 to 50, whatever you got to do. Make sure we got our kind of elevations all showing here on the right side. I'll just move this up just a bit. It's bugging me how close it is here. Yeah, we can move this. It looks good. Roof pitch. What do we got in here? What else do I want to show? I probably want to make sure I get my wall markers in here. So when I annotate my wall types, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click, activate view, and I'm actually going to come in here and go to my annotate tab, and I can tag by category. Blam, blam, blam. Wonderful, right? I think that's it. I haven't done my my rooms in my basement, but you should probably get that in there. You should get that in there for your submissions. So that's the section. That's how we get it on there. Looks good. We are missing one thing here. I'm going to go ahead and copy our elevation here. So we've got this main floor level, and we can actually copy this down. I'm going to hit it here. I'm going to call this, what do we call it? Stair landing. So let's go ahead and change that to stair landing. Ta-da! Move this up just a touch. You know what? I'm going to redo this. Let's do it this way. Free end. So if you missed that, so again, there's two ways you could do this. When we're annotating our wall, say there's something in the way, what we could do is jump up here to the annotate tab, go to tag by category, and just where it says leader type, change it from attached end, which is going to lock us in, which could be really fast and helpful. We could change it to free end, and what that's going to let us do is kind of free up where we place our annotations. It can be helpful. Nice. Okay, so that's how we get our section on there. So I realize we're missing a little bit of the grading here. We'll see if we get to that. And over here, so I'm going to double click outside of it. If I want to turn off my crop region visible, come over here, turn that off. What is left for sheet generation? We've got a couple things. Let's do the front page here. So first things first, let's create a sheet. It's A000, I think is what we've named it, A00, and it's going to be the cover page. So let's go ahead and call this cover page, and we'll call this A000. Wonderful. So this is probably the most fun page, right? You can kind of put whatever you want on here. For us, I would love if we would have a little 3D view. Unfortunately, I've muddled this all up, and I've used my 3D view to generate my stair little documentation on how I was going to kind of look at how the stair is all working, so that sucks. So what I can do, if you've done this like me, there's two ways to get back to a very standard 3D view. You can either delete it. So if I delete this, oh my God, where's my 3D view? Don't worry. We're actually going to come up here. We're going to go default 3D view. Ta-da! And we're all set. So now we have this nice little 3D view. Choose a view that works for you. I think that I'm probably going to try and take it from kind of the view like this. Let's do a little, is that going to work? Maybe a little bit down. Something like this. Something like this, and then a little bit more of an advanced tool here, but what I'd like us to do is make sure we duplicate this so you don't lose it. So I'm going to duplicate this, and let's just call it something smart. You'll see a duplicate inside of our 3D views here, and rename it. This is really our highlight page here, so cover page. It's just for us, and what that means is now we've got a 3D view we can kind of mess around with, and the cover page view will stay like this. So what do I need to do? Probably want some trees on there. I realize I don't have our little veranda on here yet, so maybe we'll get to that. But more than that, what I'd like us to do is, how do I get rid of these? Well, these are kind of annoying. Do I really want them on my front page? Probably not. Really simple thing to do here, but I don't want to stress anybody out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to something called Visibility Graphics. The shortcut for which is VV or VG, Visibility Graphics, VG, or you can come to the View ribbon here and come over here to the Visibility Graphics. This is how we control how everything gets turned on and off in our views. So this is going to be for view specific parameters. So what we can do is we can turn things on and off per view, per the view that we're in. We'll talk about this a little bit more later, but for now, if we jump over to the annotation categories, we're going to come down to levels. Let's scroll down just a touch. If you go here to levels, check that box, hit OK, and like that, voila, they are gone. So let's go ahead and grab our cover page and throw it on, sorry, our cover page 3D, and let's throw it on our view here. Nice and cute and adorable. Look how cute our little house is. What I'm going to do right now is let's make this, I think 1 to 50 is probably what I did it. Yeah, it looks about right. And now, do I really need a cover page? Nope, I can turn that off. So let's do no title. And finally, what we'll do is, what do we want to do here? I got Bruce, I got a little title on there. Probably want to crop out just the basement. I only really want to see the, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that. I see. Okay, maybe I can do it this way. Let's do a little section box, crop that. Let's do it like this. That's good for now. Let's see if that's going to work for us. So you might notice we got a little box around here. I've actually done that using our detail line tool. So if we jump up to our annotation tab, we've got a little detail line here, and just make yourself a nice little rectangle around our house. Something like this. Ta-da. And now, let's back it off a bit from the wall there. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to create a little text box. So do a little text box for me. Let's see how big we got. Let's do 7mm Arial. And it's probably not going to be big enough, but let's do Bruce Wayne Manor. And so the text box, look how little this is. What we're going to do, we're going to modify this. I can't remember how big I made it in the example. It's probably around 48. But just like any family, what we could do is we're actually going to create a new text family. So this might be a little bit frustrating, but every time you want to change the size of a font, you essentially need to create a new text family. So for us, what we'll do is click on Bruce Wayne Manor and go to the edit type, and we're going to duplicate this. I'm going to guess it's like, man, 48, maybe not that big. Let's do 36 for now. Let's see what 36 looks like. Arial 2. And we've actually got to change this from 7 to 36. Whoops, 36. Come on, brain. Together we can do anything. Okay, hit OK. Ta-da, Bruce Wayne Manor. Is that the right font? Font looks a little funky. Oh, it's bold. Because like us, we are bold. So let's go back into here, edit type, and whoops, I'll do this again. Go into edit type, and let's make ourselves a little bolder. Nice. It's looking a little bit too beefy. So what we'll do is I'm actually going to edit this. Let's make it 24 instead. Let's do 24 instead of 36. You can see how this is not nearly as intuitive as using Microsoft Word or something like this. Yeah, 24 is looking a little bit better. Bruce Wayne Manor, looking good. We've got our nice little view set up here. We got our Bruce Wayne Manor. Whoops, move this down just a bit. Move this just to the edge here. So I got my E. Oh, no, I don't even want to do that. I'm going to move it back. So yeah, the last thing here that's missing is very special tool. I hope you guys don't mind, but I went ahead and did this because I feel like this is an important one to know. This is a little sheet list, schedule. So Revit also does schedules for us, but it's all automated. So, this takes a couple taps, a couple key clicks, and it's way faster, mindlessly faster than anything that I'd previously done in Revit. In AutoCAD, where you've got to generate sheet lists one by one by one by one. This is all the kind of bread and butter of what makes Revit great, are some of these schedules, some of this information. So let's go ahead and do that. If you're curious, what we're going to do is view schedules. And then be very careful here. There's a view list and a sheet list. So this is actually going to generate it for us from basically all the information that we've already created. So if you haven't generated your sheet list, your sheets yet, it won't know what to grab from. So make sure you've generated your sheets, but remember view, schedules, sheet list, click that. And now this is a little bit of I don't want to say coding, very light coding, but we're basically creating a little database for what are the strings of information, the fields they're called. What are the fields that we want Revit to give us? So I've given you those. So sheet number, sheet name, sheet issue date. So let's scroll down. We should say sheet name. I guess sheet number is first, right? So sheet number, move that over. Sheet name, move that over. And then sheet issue date. So those three. So you can actually move these up and down. So if we've got a little sheet issue date, we can move that up or down. And this is just a really useful way to kind of organize the information. We don't need to filter anything just now, but what we can do is let's sort by sheet number ascending, which is perfect. That's what we want. And go ahead and hit OK. Ta-da! So now we've got all this information in a little schedule that is now going to live inside of our schedules. So we should see a little sheet list schedule over here. If I jump back to my cover page, I can drag and drop this. I can drag and drop the schedule. Where are you? Sheet list. Drag and drop it. Ta-da! Now we've got a nice little sheet list. And you could see maybe there's a mistake. Maybe there's things you want to fix. You can fix them inside the schedule. Unfortunately, you can't fix them on the this document right here. You got to jump into the schedule to fix them. But in terms of formatting, what I want to do is kind of just move this over just a bit, right? So I think what we're going to do is we're going to expand this one, and just try and have it, yeah, that looks good. Something like this. Have it line up with the edge of our E. I know, very particular, right? Let's try and do that. So yeah, so it should look something like that. If, for instance, you wanted to make these all capitals, what we can do is you might be tempted to you're like, oh, just let me get in here. So I double clicked, unfortunately. So you could double click and it will bring you to the view itself. So the view of the schedule. It's also going to live in this little sheet. It's going to live in this little sheet list over here. So if I double click sheet list, apologies for how small it is. Revit doesn't let you kind of do it this way. So if I change this to basement floor plan, all caps, we can do that. It's going to update everywhere. So main floor plan, all caps, roof plan, all caps, elevations. Whoops, I almost wrote all caps. And then elevations and section. So what does that mean? Well, now on our cover page, they should appear all caps, and you'll also notice, I'm just going to make sure before I misspeak here, we'll also see on the sheets, they're now all caps, right? So all of our sheets will now show all caps. It is case sensitive. And now we've got a nice little drawing package starting to form up. So we've got our, oh, I see, I dragged it all the way over. Whoops. And the reference, I've actually got it all the way over here. So let's do that just to keep it nice and tidy. Sure. Oh, because I called it 2026. That's why. 2026. Something like that. So we're starting to get pretty close here to the end game. I hope this has been helpful. What we're going to do is see if we can tidy up some of the kind of things that are happening inside the model. We're in pretty good shape. I think that we'll take another look at the model in the next session and just see what's kind of missing and what we can kind of beef up. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.